Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Steve Holm from EXP. I'm with my one and only branch broker, Sam Dodd. Thanks for sitting down to help me out with some of these new ways that you've learned in the industry, how to handle rejection or doubts in your clients' minds. So the first question is, Sam, actually, the question I get is, Steve, how's the market? So Sam, take us through kind of how you've handled that in the past 20 some odd years you've been doing.
So first you need to know what they're actually asking you, right? So when they ask you how's the market, you almost need to clarify it. And so what I do is I say, well, that depends. Are you thinking about buying, selling, investing, or renting?
Okay, so that covers everybody.
That basically covers everybody, but then it allows you to answer their question more specifically because they're gonna drill down to, oh, I'm thinking about selling my house. Okay.
Yeah, so for the sake of this conversation, I'm thinking about investing. How's the market if I'm investing?
Well, that's a great question. How is the market, Steve, if you're thinking about investing? Is it good or bad, do you think?
My personal opinion, I'm buying real estate, so my gut says it's good, but that's only because I only have the history of
Right.
the last 100 years of selling. But
So,
I would,
So I agree with you. It is a good time to invest. And the reason that I feel like it's a good time to invest is I'm watching our government that's $36 trillion in debt and they're inflating our money at 4% a year, right? So that means I can buy real estate today, have a renter pay for that real estate every month, and I get to pay it back, the loan that I borrowed with money from today, with money that's worth less.
so it's easier to get the money tomorrow.
It is. And someone else is paying for it for me. So I get all the appreciation, right?
Yeah.
I get the benefits. I get the tax benefits. The renter pays for it for me. So in 30 years, if I don't make a single extra payment on that house, I own a house free and clear. I got to write off every drop of mortgage interest that the renter paid for me. I got the appreciation. Like all these things stack up, and it means to me that it's a great time to invest. Now, obviously, you don't want to do stupid things, right? You want to invest in sound things. And I always say you don't want to negative amortize. You don't want to buy a rental where you're having to put money into it every month because you are going to have things come up like repairs, insurance claims, stuff like that. The sewer line's going to back up. You need to have a little extra money in there. But if you do this right, you can make money every month, and according to the government, you lost money because you depreciated that property. And so for me, real estate's the ultimate investment for multiple reasons, but that's the main one, right? Is like the renter's paying off a house for me while I'm taking the mortgage interest deduction, I'm getting the appreciation, and I'm also depreciating that property on my taxes. And then we can talk about all sorts of other strategies like 1031ing from that property to the next one, and that way I took all that appreciation and I don't ever pay taxes on it because I 1031 into the next property and the next property and the next property.
Hence the reason I own real estate. So let's back up to the answer to the skeptical buyers. So, hey Sam, how's the market? And you say, are you buying, selling, whatever? So I got that from you now. So I'm gonna come at you. I'm a buyer. How's the market if I'm a buyer?
Well, that's a great question. So what I tell buyers, because I actually believe it, right? I'm always truthful with my buyers and sellers, but I say, you know what? Today's a great time to buy, and I'll explain why, right? 2020, we were having to write offers sometimes $50, $60, $100,000 over asking price just to get looked at. Today, I'm able to negotiate off the price as well as get my buyers closing costs. And then we use those closing costs to buy the interest rate down or to pay. I had one the other day where we got $10,000 in closing costs paid. It cost my buyer $0 to get in, nothing. The seller paid every bit of it. Now, if you go to rent a property, you're gonna have first month's, sometimes last month's, and a deposit. It's cheaper to buy a home as far as upfront money right now
In some screen.
in some circumstances, if you have the correct real estate agent, if you have someone that the experience and the know how to do this, to where you can get into a home for nothing down. You get your earnest money check back at closing, right? And so it's a great time to buy. Honestly, the best time to buy is when you need a home. But like right now is a great time to buy because you can negotiate off that price. You can get the seller pay closing costs. Sellers are a lot more willing to, give concessions now versus 2 years ago when, hey, if I wait 2 more days, I'll get an offer for $50,000 more. Why would, as a seller, why would you take money off?
And to say, so in 2020, we had a very limited supply. In 2021, I was on the market in 2023 looking at listing numbers. I think there was 50 or 60 total residential listings in 2023 in Cedar Valley, right? So now it's 2026 and we have over 1,200, so I see a lot of that. So now with that same, these guys are watching wondering, hey, how does the same people answer every different situation with a positive answer, right? So now we're gonna go back and I'm gonna say, hey Sam, how's the market? And you're gonna say, that's a lame question. I keep getting the same question, right? But then you're gonna convert it into another question back at me. So I'm gonna say, Sam, how's the market if I'm a seller?
Right.
So
Right now it's interesting because there are a lot of situations where I don't think sellers should sell their home right now. But I can tell you, if you need to sell your home, death, divorce, job transfer, some of these situations, or hey, maybe you need the money, right? One of the great things about the market right now is if those buyers are out there looking for homes, they're serious and they're coming and they're buying houses. You don't have the looky-loos, you don't have the oh maybes, you don't have the, hey, I'm bored on a Saturday, let's go look at 10 houses, right? Like, if you need to sell your home today, first of all, there's not a lot of competition. And we kind of went over this the other day, but almost 40% of homes in Utah right now are owned free and clear. And then another 40+% have loans under 4%. So you have 80 to 85% of the market that has no incentive to sell. So that means there's only 15% of the homes that are really even considering selling. And so that's created all sorts of crazy things like new construction is cheaper than resale homes right now, which it baffles my mind. But because of those dynamics, as a seller, it could be advantageous for you to sell right now because, first of all, you don't have as much competition. And then second of all, you need to sell, so you need that money, but then, you have serious buyers out there. The people looking are serious. We don't have the tire kickers right now.
That's insane. So I have had sellers DM me on social media and they say, hey, I want to sell my property, right? And I got 2 listings in one day and both of them told me, hey, we're not really super motivated. We're just trying to fill it up. Here's our dollar we want, right? And we listed it. And a week later, the neighbor called me off of the sign, bought one of them. So the seller was not motivated, but the buyer did not want landlocked. So I represented both sides because it was a benefit for both. Not like, so I guess when people say, is it a buyer market or a seller market? And the answer that I keep telling them is, it depends. It depends. It depends on your needs. It depends on your wants. Like, if you want something bad enough, it doesn't matter what the market looks like. If you need something, if you need to sell, for example, it doesn't matter if it's a bad time to sell. You have to sell, right? So
yeah, and that's an important caveat because it isn't always the best time to buy. Hey, if you know you're going to move in the next 2 years, it's cheaper to rent. By the time you pay the closing costs and do all those things, you should have just rented. You'd come out ahead. Or let's say you have a 2.75% interest rate and you're in a home that you're happy in. There is no reason to sell that and jump into a 6 or a 5.75% interest rate.
Double your mortgage for the same house.
Right. There's literally no reason to do it. So it really does depend. And that's why we have to ask more questions and dig in a little bit deeper because that's a very general question that needs a specific answer. So that's why we ask those questions.
So anytime you realtors get the question, how's the market? Which is basically people saying, hey, I know you're an agent, right? they're basically saying, hey, I realize you're a realtor and I know you want to verbally vomit on me, so how's the market? And then good realtors say, it depends. Which do you mean, right? Average realtors will just say, the market is good. What are you trying, like, houses are great to buy right now. And then you're like, I wasn't trying to buy, I was trying to sell. And then they're like, oh, selling's fine, and then they're stumbling, right? So as a realtor, Sam just taught me, and I learned this today, you got to drill into what they're saying when they say, how's the market? So another question I have is it worth buying water rights? Can you answer that?
Yeah. I think that especially in the high desert of Cedar City, they're not making any more water. There's a certain amount of water, and every builder wants it, every farmer wants it, every city in southern Utah wants it. Long term, water is probably one of the best investments you can make because you have a limited supply, just like Bitcoin, right? There's exactly this much Bitcoin. There's never going to be any more once they stop doing the halvings and stuff, right? And so you have a very limited supply of water. And so some of the smartest guys I know invest in water. And it may go up and down a little bit, but over time, I've watched water go from $500 an acre foot to $20,000 an acre foot. And now you have government regulation where they're taking water rights away. Well, people still need that water. And so they're going to have to go and buy that good water, that 1934 or older water.
And if it gets dry enough, it's going to step another old
They will come in and take even more.
Yeah, so I had a friend on social media reach out, hey, I want to sell some water. And I was like, great. I mean, it's selling like hotcakes right now in Cedar City, right? 10 minutes later, she texted me back and said, hey, my kid said I can't sell it. And I'm like, okay, they must have got the memo that it's an investment for them, right?
Here's the other beautiful thing about water. When I go buy a piece of land, I have to pay the government every year.
On taxes? Okay.
Water, there's no taxes on water.
But there is a maintaining process, right?
No.
All
you have to do is use your water.
Okay, use it.
And there's actually all sorts of ways to
borrow
not use it. You can put it in non-use for 7 years. You can lease it to a farmer for $1. Now it's being used. It's pretty easy to show beneficial use of your water. And so it's one of those things, it's very rare where the government doesn't have their claws in taxing you every year on your water. And so, you could, let's say you have $1 million and you park it in water, you can lease that water out to a farmer and there's no taxes other than on your lease, which I'm not an accountant or attorney. Go to your accountant or attorney for tax or legal advice.
Yeah, this is not legal advice. It's us talking about what we do every day. So, yeah, that's wild. And have you seen more in residential or commercial in Cedar Valley?
It's booming in both right now. We still have the growth coming in, and so we're still growing, but we also have a lot of business. Companies like BZI have brought in a ton of business to the valley. The university is always hiring. The Levitt Group is hiring. I mean, we have a lot of really good things in Cedar City happening, and so until the growth stops, I don't see the valley stopping. And it's an interesting concept, right? Because 50 new people move into town, and now we need a new accountant, we need a new attorney, we need a new
lawyer,
whatever, right?
Yeah.
School teacher, and so it just grows on itself. It starts almost self-growing because you need all those new people, and then that's enough new people to need another new person in every one of those fields.
Yeah, and so, essentially a resident moves in, then they hire a lawyer for any reason, and then the lawyer needs a house, and then the lawyer's house needs a cleaner.
Right, it's like a snowball going down a hill, and it just gets bigger and bigger every time it goes around.
Yeah, and then you build a new gas station, and now you need 20 new employees, and those need new homes. Every new home needs a plumber. Every new home needs an AC guy. Every new home needs a framer. Every new framing company needs an employee. And like you said, the snowballs keeps. And it's incredible that the game of economics. I sat down with the economic director of Cedar Valley, and he opened my mind to the fact that you can't ever track how many people are moving in the valley or how much money is moving in the valley. It's all about, hey, how do you make sure that the people that are moving in actually have a job? Like, what do we do to forward think this and give somebody somewhere to go, you know? So that's incredible. Well, that is my quick update on tips from Sam. I'm probably gonna build like a series of Sam's brain or something. He's been in this how many years been in?
21 years now.
No way, dude. You were all the way through 08.
I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh man, dude, I was I just barely got in 2 years ago next month, and it's been wild. It's been wild. I've been grateful for all you guys, and thank you, Sam, for the help.
Of course.
We'll see you guys later. Stay tuned for more.